Look at this, dirt. Where's the mayor? The cleanness of the garbage everywhere, dirty snow. What do you do with this?
Well, actor Michael Rappaport saying what a lot of New Yorkers are thinking right now. Locals are furious over Mayor Zohran Mamdani's slow and poor snow and garbage cleanup more than a week since the monster storm. And that's not the worst of it. The mayor announcing 16 homeless people died outside in the freezing cold during the Arctic deep freeze, 13 of hypothermia, 3 of overdose death. Now, you have critics blaming Mamdani's decision just weeks ago to tell cops and sanitation workers to stop clearing up homeless encampments. But Zohran says none of the victims were found in encampments. Here's the mayor today telling reporters he did everything he could.
Outreach teams have traversed the city, making every possible effort to bring vulnerable and homeless New Yorkers in from the cold. We have now made more than 980 placements into shelters and safe havens since Monday the 19th. The number of New Yorkers who have passed away during this code blue remains at 16. That does not mean that the danger, however, has passed. If you see someone in need, please call 311. Outreach workers and first responders from NYPD and FDNY will respond and get those New Yorkers the help that they need.
They were outside. They did have hypothermia, but it wasn't because they were outside, Jesse, that they died. Figure that out.
In 19th century India, under British colonial rule, there were all these venomous cobras that were all over the streets of Delhi. And it was freaking out all of the British families. So they created a program where the residents would get money for every dead cobra they'd bring in. So what did the residents do? They started breeding the cobras in order to make money, and they were making a living off this program. And the British found out about it, and they stopped the program, and all the breeders were angry because they weren't getting paid anymore, so they unleashed all of the cobras onto the streets. It tripled the venomous cobra population in the city, and then you know what else happened. This is the same thing that's happening with Democrats.
Right. The British end up leaving India.
The longest analogy ever.
Right. I'm sorry. We're going to have to go to break.
Unintended consequences of their policies. They're throwing all this money at the homeless, and people don't realize that's not going to make homeless disappear. Because if you wanted to solve it, you just get them off the street, get them a job, but then the money stops. And then those people are out of a job. 20 years ago, we were only spending $1 billion on homeless.
Right.
Now we're spending almost $4 billion.
And his goal, keep them homeless.
And the homeless population's gone from 20,000 in New York City to over 100,000.
Right.
We are creating homeless people to make money off of them.
Right, and we probably learned it from India and Gavin Newsom.
Probably.
So you know what I'm struck at, Dana? I'm struck about how many critics he has on his own side. The Queensborough president wants some electricity. You have the city councilman, Savannah Heinef of Brooklyn, also wants 2,000. She's one of 2,000 in Park Slope, where socialists live, I guess. We're 2,000 without power. They're also hoping for some relief in Brooklyn from Chai Osi. Are you surprised so many people that supported Mamdani are quick to criticize him 1 month in?
No, because this is all that really matters when you're in leadership is the competence of the quality of life. This is the main thing. This is the main thing. Yeah. And if you can't get the main thing done right, you'll never be forgiven. Ask Bill de Blasio. In his first week or two on the job, when he first became mayor, there was a huge snowstorm here in New York. He never recovered. Remember all those streets that never got plowed? He forgot to close the schools, and then when they closed the schools, it was too late for the kids to get home. Now, I know that it's been super cold, and it's hard to get this stuff to melt, and he's got a problem, but he's the one who said he could do everything. So if you cannot do the basics here, it's very unlikely that the people are going to support you when you come up with free grocery stores.
Jessica, bad start?
So I thought that the first few weeks were actually going quite well with the universal child care rollout. And he's out there and he's communicating also the videos about the summer programs. And I thought it was actually a very good start. This storm has been terrible, and the cold. And I don't know what another mayor would have done necessarily differently. I think it does matter that the people who died didn't die in the homeless encampments, which he's being yelled about. And there are people who work in the homeless community who are saying that you absolutely have to expand the outreach hours, that they have to be going overtime. It has to be a 24-hour cycle that people are going around. They have these mobile heating units that people can come into to get warm if they don't want to go into the shelter system. So I'm not ready to go to, it's been bad, but obviously there could be huge improvement. But one thing that I think could really improve the quality of life is if people would actually help out in their own communities in the city. And I think it's something that happens in the suburbs and in rural areas where you go and you help your neighbors. But my husband actually went out and bought shovels, and he shoveled the corners of everywhere that we have to walk on our route to school, because I could not get a stroller. There were moms all over my neighborhood unable to get through snow drifts because where they had cleared it wasn't even where like the ramp was to go down. And so he was out there doing it, and then people were coming out of their stores and doing it together. And there is a spirit that you can create if you are willing to, ask, but also show by example. Like, we're living here together, and you lose track of that sometimes when you live in a city. But we can be doing more too.
That story really humanized you, Jessica.
Right.
I really respect your husband. You should share more stories like that.
Right. And Greg, do you have a story to share?
Yeah, I have a story.
Greg then came out.
I
and shoveled
probably
with Brian,
spend
too.
6 to 7 figures in taxes in New York City, so I don't have to get out and shovel every corner of my sidewalk. I will shovel every corner of my sidewalk if you stop forcing me to pay that much money in taxes. We should not even be having that kind of conversation. We should not be entertaining that. He said they weren't found in encampments. They weren't found in shelters. If they were allowed to take down the encampments and required them in shelters, all of those people would be alive. And finally, you see Deborah Messing and Michael Rappaport, at least they're protesting the right ice. No one wears a pin for the dead homeless. Why did Zohran stop the cops from taking down these encampments and getting protesters in there? Because it's a virtue signal. He's terrified of the left coming after him. And in the name of progressivism, everybody has a right to die on the streets. Just as you have a right to be raped by an illegal migrant gangbanger, or OD on fentanyl, or have your local business looted during the summer of love. They hijack compassion and then they invert it. So the evil guy, who are the evil people? The police who want to take down the embankments and save the encampments and save the lives, or the ICE agents who are rescuing missing kids, or the police that are getting fentanyl off the streets. Those are the bad guys. ICE saves more people in a week than progressives have saved in a lifetime.
Also, Staten Island, very red area. They're still waiting for the plows.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that's a coincidence.
I don't think Mamdani even understands what a homeless person is. Homeless people do not have the ability to make decisions for themselves. We all know that.